Okay, this is part two. I was talking about, I don't understand why these people lie like that on YouTube. I, I guess I'm thinking, what's their purpose? Is it to build up some type of following and get white folks all amped up? To preface this, in the last video, I was talking about, I went to this channel where this fellow was saying that Africa, we know Africa is the land of black people, was actually populated by Caucasoids, as he called them. The word was Caucasoid, and they built Egypt and all that. And the fellow, he put up, I watched a few minutes of it, and he had some type of, no real proof, just some words. And he had this glorious music playing, la 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 la, and, and I can see, that it's a certain kind of music, that it gets white folks amped up, who are racist types, because it makes you feel powerful, and like, you're the creators of the master of the universe. And unfortunately, the truth is, no offense to my Caucasian viewers, if you do real research, you'll find that your race is between 6,000 and 8,000 years old. So they've already, it was Caucasian scientists that traced life back, both male, and I just recently watched the program on tracing the mitochondria DNA, the female DNA, all the way back to Africa also. In fact, they traced the first line of humans that went out 70,000 years ago. They crossed over into Yemen. And I didn't know that. I watched the second, wave went into India and all up into there, okay? And then, they got stuck in the Ice Age. And in the female show, this really pale-skinned, white-haired woman, she was a white lady, looked like a dyke, but she was a scientist, and she was trying to figure out, what happened. And she traced it down to, God, now the word escapes, flavonoids, no. She traced it down, it took 20,000 years for the black race to turn white. But also, in there, is in the new findings of Neanderthal DNA inside Caucasian folks, which is also inside my blood too. Most American blacks, we got in us too because of our history. Okay, that means we got Neanderthal DNA in us. It's people that's over in Africa that don't have whites in their background, that don't have Neanderthal DNA in them, so they're still pure human. Not that we're less humans, but we know we're carrying. If Caucasians are carrying, 3 to 5% Neanderthal DNA, which were pre-humans, then that becomes a touchy subject right there. So I think I'll leave that one alone. But I'm in the same boat. Okay, I'm in the same boat because of my dad's father. So anyway, these people that do these channels, I ask the question, why lie? Does it really make someone who's white, tell me, why do you think they lie about it? Stuff like that. Does it really make someone who's white feel that inferior because you came from black people? Someone who's white, let me know if that really bothers you, your race and stuff. Does it really bug you to know that you were black a long time ago? Then because of the last ice age, lack of sunlight, the pineal gland in most Caucasians 70% calcified. That shows evidence right there, whether it was done deliberately or not. There's some people that believe that white folks were engineered, and I can see that. Leave them up there, trap them up there, they'll change. But what's the big deal? Who cares? We're all human beings on the planet. That's what we got to learn, is that we're all human beings of the same tree, regardless of where you sit on. White folks, you're a branch in the upper realm of the tree, upper limbs of the tree, way up there. That's where your race started. And at the roots, who cares if it's black people? Who cares? So my question is, why? Why make all these, fake videos and do all the arguing on YouTube? I can see some creepy, weird dude, with white guy with stringy hair and a balding head and little receded chin, getting home and getting on his computer, click, 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 and cut, and making a video of just words and really no proof in the video, not one shred of evidence in the video. Not looking at any of the DNA or any of that kind of stuff, or even the tracing language or history, none of that. Okay, just some glorious music in the background that gets weak-minded people all riled up. Okay, why? My question is why? Who cares? White folks, you guys rule the world. Most of it. So why bother? I mean, I don't get it. Why lie? That's my thing. Why lie? And I know that's a weakness on my part to expect people to behave as you would. Like, I wouldn't lie about the shit. If I found some new evidence that, black folks were engineered by some aliens or something like that, I would say it. Hey, we were originally slaves. I would come out and say it. But I haven't found anything like that yet. But I wouldn't lie about it. That's my point. And that's where I think my weakness is, and a lot of other black folks, is you don't expect other people to lie about that stuff. For example, one country, we'll leave them nameless, they created something called the Peltdown Man, just so that they could claim separate origins, and that lasted for 40 years. They actually manufactured the bones and stuff, and it lasted for 40 fucking years before it was uncovered as a hoax. And well, they tried to say it was a hoax. We were just kidding. I said, well, chaps, we were just joking. I think I just gave that country away. My bad. But why? It just doesn't make sense to me. I guess I'd have to be born Caucasian to understand. It's like some people, you don't understand black folks. Maybe you got to try, think about if I was born black. What if you had been born black in America? What if you had been born black in America? Think about that for a minute, you guys who are non-blacks, Asians, Mexicans, whatever. What if you had been born black in America? Think of how different your life would be. There is a story, true story, I believe, of a Caucasian male that actually did follow that one book where the fellow changed his skin color. And this is told by Dr. Cress Welsing, so I do put faith in it. But, he ran home crying to his mommy after 2 days of being in black skin. Not a whole lifetime, but just 2 fucking days. He ran home crying and had him change it back. So, you got a whole race of people like the Mormons who think we're black because of some fictitious, sin that passed on the Ham. It's already been just debunked by the real, true biblical scholars because they created their own history. Now, I did some research into the Mormons, and I'm finding out that they believe that the American Indians were the last Jewish tribe. Although DNA now shows just the opposite. I mean, totally fabricated. And I'm listening to these Mormon scholars. I watched a program on it, and Mormon scholars saying that Smith had a history of fabrication. He was a diviner. He divined stuff. He put stuff in a hat and saw visions or whatever. He put a crystal in a hat and saw visions, and that didn't work for him. So he somehow found some gold tablets that never got produced, and wrote the Book of Mormons. So I'm looking at these Mormon scholars coming out saying, okay, we saw the DNA, that makes him wrong. And I watched one Mormon scholar, ex-Mormon scholar, who said he went to his bishop and asked him, what should I do? And they said, just pray about it and just ignore it. You can't ignore the truth. Why lie? Why continue a lie? So if you have a whole entire religion that's, they'll probably come after you for this, but that's based on a lie, what's going to happen to the Mormon church when they really truly wake up? And there are tons of them. They're apparently the richest church, I believe, in the United States, as I recall that program saying, which means they're over the Catholics. They're beating the Catholics in money. And that's some serious dough right there. But then I look at, this new president coming up, elect, and he's from that background. And, you can't believe what a politician says. So he was programmed and raised in that entire environment. So I'm thinking, what is his thoughts going to be if he gets in the office? In other words, what's going to happen to my race? Again, step into our shoes and try living. That one fellow lasted 2 days. Okay, what if a Mormon gets in there? And Mormons, they're going to raise all the Mormons up in government. Next election, we got to run them back out again. But they'll be up there for a couple of years. And if their religion is based on fabrication, what is going to happen to this fucking country? I know people are tired of Obama, and there's people with closet racial issues that they're not willing to admit to themselves. They don't want to be ruled by even a half Negro or half black man, and they're willing to vote for a Mormon. That's the lesser of two evils. And I know Obama's. You don't realize these presidents, when they get in there, like a Republican gets in there, the Democrats gonna fight him every step of the way. He ain't getting nothing done. If a Democrat gets in there, let's forget race and all that. The Republicans going to fight him every step of the way. He ain't getting nothing done. It's hard for him to get anything done. As you heard Obama say. He's talked about, Romney and his, I don't want to get political here, but Romney and his cohorts, stopping him every step of the way. And that's what's going on. We don't know the true facts of what's going on up there. We only hear, like, on my Facebook, there's a woman that's, she's a Republican woman, and she's for Romney. And one of my clients, who's she's raised Catholic, she's from the Midwest, devout Irish people out there and all that stuff. She never got to meet her one grandparents because her mother was Protestant. That's how bad they are out there. How religious they are. Okay, she wasn't. Her family wasn't invited into the whole thing. Actually, I think it was Protestant and they married a Catholic. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, it was fucked up. And she said, in the nursing, she was a emergency nurse, and she said, the head of the hospital was a nurse, and he elevated all the Mormons up in that hospital, and she said, that's how they do things, and the women get treated like shit. So I don't see how a woman gets so brainwashed that she would vote in that direction. I didn't mean to go into political subjects. I try to keep politics out of the shit. I do apologize. But it ties into everything I'm talking about. Are we that stupid and that sheepish out there that we believe lies and stuff? That we're not willing to look further and do our own research? Are we that lazy? Which ties into everything I've been talking about when I got on the internet, started saying, hey, this shit's bullshit. Guy saying that you could be 5 foot tall, short, fat, and balding, and date 6 foot tall models without tricking. Give me a fucking break. I'm from the real world. I see through lies quickly too. Those guys who know me from from the forums, I see through some bullshit. Some guys try to write me some bullshit like you see me on here. I call people out on this shit. I can see people trying to hide the truth. So why lie? That's my question to the Caucasian viewers out there. Why do these people lie? Because I don't believe they believe what they say, because they've done enough research to have found the truth. If you do any digging, you see the truth. And I know that current academia supports, one theory, but black scholars that went in there and debunked all of that shit. And now the Caucasian scholars coming back in saying, yeah, they were right. Whoop-de-doo. The Caucasian DNA geneticists, they're showing the true, what really is going on. The truth is in the blood. History is in our blood. It's written in our blood. All we got to do is study the blood, and we find our history. Why look to the past? Because if you don't look to the past, you might repeat the bullshit you did in the past again. That's why. I'm trying to think of how some of the closet racist people are going to respond to this video and shut them up before they even get started. Why talk about race? Well, the last guy in the last video brought it up. Why talk about politics? Because I tied it in together, as you saw earlier. Okay, so I think that's it, and peace, fellas. and we're all just humans.